When people talk about King Lear, they often say it's a tragedy about pride or about bad decisions made too late in life, and that's not wrong. But after reading King Lear this time, what stayed with me wasn't only sadness, it was exhaustion. The feeling that even when everything finally becomes clear, nothing comes to meet that clarity in this world, maybe. Let me briefly say what happens in the story. King Lear is an old ruler who decides to divide his kingdom. Instead of judging his three daughters by what they've done, he asks them to declare how much they love him. Two daughters, the eldest and the second eldest, flatter him beautifully, whereas the youngest, Cordelia, refuses. She says, "I cannot heap my heart into my mouth." Lear hears honesty, but he takes it as a rejection. He disowns her and gives his power to those who flatter him instead. At the same time, another father, Gloucester, believes a lie about his loyal son Edgar and turns against the wrong child. Very quickly, everything collapses. Lear loses his power and is driven into a storm, literal storm. Gloucester is captured and blinded. His eyes are gouged out. Cordelia returns to save her father and is killed. By the end of the play, almost everyone is dead, and that's the story in a nutshell. Lots of bloodshed. So I think it's tempting to read the entire play and say, if only Lear had been wiser, if only Gloucester had judged better. And this is how we usually see how tragedy goes. There's mistake, there's punishment, and there's lesson learned. But Shakespeare refuses this comfort. In King Lear, understanding does not save anyone. Take Gloucester for example. After he's blinded, he finally understands that Edgar was innocent, and this realization comes before he knows that the beggar guiding him, helping him along the way, poor Tom, is Edgar himself. So his pain is not shock, it's clarity. Gloucester says, "I stumbled when I saw." That line feels like the heart of the play in a sense. He realizes that his suffering wasn't necessary, that nothing demanded it, that no deeper order stepped in to stop him from being wrong. Gloucester doesn't die because he's forgiven. He dies because he sees how unnecessary everything was. Lear's journey goes even further on the other hand. Lear believes that the world has structure, that authority means something, that love can be measured, that order exists because it should. When he's cast out into the storm, he cries, "I am a man more sinned against than sinning." That doesn't sound arrogant. If we think about it for a while, it sounds like someone asking the world to acknowledge injustice. But the storm doesn't answer. Nature doesn't respond. Later Lear says, "They told me I was everything. 'Tis a lie." Lear doesn't just lose his kingdom. He loses the belief that the world itself is listening. And maybe that's the most depressing and dismal part of King Lear. The play doesn't say the world is evil. It says the world is indifferent. There's a line in Chinese philosophy, 天地不仁，以万物为刍狗. Heaven and earth are not cruel. They simply don't arrange themselves around us. They simply don't care. When Lear holds Cordelia's body and asks, "Why should a dog, a horse, a rat have life, and now no breath at all?" He isn't asking for an explanation anymore. He's realizing that none is coming. And this brings us to the question, if the world doesn't respond, why shouldn't we just look after ourselves? Why not become refined egoists, careful, efficient, and protected? Shakespeare doesn't answer this by punishing selfishness in his play. In fact, lots of selfish characters do quite well for a long time. Instead, he shows us something else. The world egoism creates is not immoral, it's uninhabitable. A world where everything is calculation has no place to rest. no trust that isn't strategic, no care that isn't conditional, and sooner or later, even the egoist has to live inside that world. If the world guaranteed justice, then goodness would be a transaction. But in King Lear, goodness has no guarantee. And that's exactly what makes it human, maybe. Near the end of the play, Edgar says, "Speak what we feel, not what we ought to say, not because it will fix the world, but because it is what remains." When nothing promises meaning, King Lear doesn't teach us how to win either. It offers an option, and just an option, of remaining human when the universe offers no reply. Humanism doesn't say we're pure, it doesn't say we can fix everything. In a better version of it, I think it says more demanding, something way more demanding, that no one's coming. But because no one's coming, what we do with each other matters more, if anything, not less. If the world doesn't care, then caring becomes a choice, not enforced by heaven, not guaranteed by reward. And perhaps that is the dignity King Lear leaves us with, that the decision to carry on being human, even when nothing answers back. Thank you.